Good morning, afternoon, and evening. Welcome back to the Liberal Artist Podcast 2024 edition.
Woo-hoo. Yeah.
I'm your host, as always, Bodio. With me, I have Kaylie Horowitz.
Habanero.
And Andy Gibby Gibson.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? How's your year been so far?
You know, it's been all right. It's been pretty good so far. I got a lot of rest over the holidays, right before job stuff gets crazy again, but I'm doing pretty good for myself. You good over yonder, Kaylie?
We went from like 2 weeks of nothing to do but be just fed food and sweets and do things or not do things really. And we immediately came back, and now I'm in rehearsals for 2 shows and getting into production for a show that I'm producing and going, wait a minute. I'm responsible for things. No.
I miss the feeling of the 26th through the 30th in which time does not exist and responsibilities do not exist. I forget how blissful that truly is.
It honestly is. Like, and I think the thing that I realized this year, and I think this is also because of like traveling with Ian, but this year felt like so focused on that, like that time between Christmas and New Year's as a like, wow, this time doesn't exist couple of days where we just eat cheese and disassociate. And every time we kept like, there's so many posts on Twitter and TikTok about that this year. Like this is, I don't know if it's been any different, but like this year felt very, social media was fixated on that chunk of time.
But are you saying that's like not every day? Is that something I shouldn't be doing every day?
Right.
Eating cheese?
And disassociating?
Yeah, like that's just my day in, day out. But it felt like this time around was such a like, oh, this nebulous time. And every single time Ian would go, it's still Christmas. Christmas is the first day of Christmas. You're in day 4 of Christmas. With all the songs about getting birds. These are the days in which you get the birds.
It's like when Timmy Turner wished for every day to be Christmas, and like it loses a little bit of its dividends on return the day after.
Are all of those things birds in that song?
Yes.
In the 12 Days of Christmas?
Yep.
I don't. Okay, at least like the first
are the rings
6 are.
birds?
Yep, they are ring-necked pheasants.
That's not actually the original translation. Not even the original lyrics. I think are literal rings, but later somebody went pheasants and made it more birds because, like, proportionally the song was not bird heavy enough.
I guess not.
But I thought even the people, the maids, the lords, and
those are birds?
drummers were also birds.
No, I'm not killing off like 30 people just so that there can be more birds in this holiday song, man.
True.
But what am I going to do with all these drummers, though?
I don't know.
Drum.
Feed them.
That's 12 people.
You have so many birds, you can just cook them up.
Look, they're going to be self-sufficient. There's like 12 lords and like 10 drummers and like a bunch of milkmaids.
No,
so at the very least, they've got the dairy
drummers,
portion covered.
Okay.
11 leaping lords.
Why are they leaping from?
I don't know. It's not your business.
I don't know what they're leaping from.
The Revolution.
What is it? 8 maids a milking, 9 ladies dancing.
Milking what?
Right. What are they milking? They don't say what they're it's just the maids that are milking. What?
That is a problem. The fact that there's no cows that are mentioned within the song.
There's nothing specified.
What or whom are they milking?
I don't want to think about this, so I will.
It's 10 lords. So we have 12 drummers, 11 pipers.
That doesn't change the
10
problem,
lords
Kaylie.
Leaping, 9 ladies dancing, and 8 maids milking something.
No, like that. The amount of drummers does not change the questionability of the milking that's going on.
No.
here.
I just forgot. I remembered what the other category of persons that are not birds was.
Bo,
I forgot
do not
the pipers.
Google who they were milking.
You're not going to find
that. You are not going to find the answers that you want
okay,
or need
Google.
to hear.
Okay, Google. Whom the maids be milking, though?
Oh my god.
Do they each have their own cow, presumably, or are they all working together on the same one?
Jesus. 12 drummers drumming, 11 pipers piping, 10 lords a leaping. These are not birds. 9 ladies dancing, 8 maids a milking, 7 swans a swimming, 6
Right,
geese
now we're back to
a-laying,
birds.
5 golden wings, 4 calling birds, 3
5
hens,
golden
2
wings.
Did I say wings? I said rings.
It sounded like wings.
5 Kentucky Fried Chicken Golden
Oh, I was
Georgia
thinking
Wings.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. So up until number 7.
Yeah, birds.
Well,
So you get a week
half
of birds.
half of them are birds
Yes.
because the rings may or may not be birds.
1 out of
Yes.
7 is not half.
What?
No. He's saying
No, because
at least 6 out of 12, potentially 7 out
yeah,
of 12.
because
Oh,
a
okay.
partridge in a
Total
pear
number,
tree, 2
total
turtle
number.
doves,
Okay.
3 French hens, 4 calling birds, 6 geese a-laying, 7 swans a swimming.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
but then also, are you not getting the repetition though? Are you not getting like on the
dear
on
God,
the
I
7th
hope
day of
not.
Christmas, my true love gave to me
Is this
the
compound
swans.
interest for birds?
Yeah, like that's the way that I've understood it, was that you're getting that gift again and again. Like for every day that it's listed in the total, you're getting it again.
If that's true, your true love is an asshole.
He's an overgifter.
I think somebody did the math, and when you add it up with all the repetitions, you've been placed responsible for like 300 souls. You know,
Yeah.
No,
I choose
I'm,
to believe
like,
that birds have souls because it's
just-
funnier
just-
for the segment.
just
Even
the
if they're not
people-
real, they have souls.
Hold on, where the fuck is my calculator? We're doing this live.
Oh my God, I don't want to do
No.
Christmas math.
Christmas
You've
math
at least
with the
been
liberal
given
artist.
12 pear
Ugh,
trees.
this is the
Is
wrong
that a
way to
small
start
order?
the
No.
year.
I'm just counting the people. I'm just counting the people. Okay.
How
Editor
many people
Gibby.
do I have to feed now that are in my house?
Editor Gibby, you might have to edit this down. This might take me a second.
12. Okay, so on the top of my head, you have
Uh-huh.
at least 40 maids milking.
So you have 12 drummers drumming,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
22 pipers piping.
Yes, you
Yes.
do.
Jesus. Okay, so that's 12 plus 22. You have
30 lords a leaping.
plus
Yep.
30 lords a leaping plus 9 times 4, which is
36.
So yeah,
36.
36.
which is
Dance,
we're already up to
ladies
100
dancing.
people.
And then
Add 40 for the maids of milking.
Yeah,
yeah.
plus 40.
You have been put in charge of 140 people. That is a large wedding. This is not fair.
That's too many people.
That's so many people.
Where are you getting all of these people to give? I have questions.
This is like a violation of human rights. Like the Geneva Convention, like specifically outlined holiday gifting of people, and it just said no underneath.
Well, let's start the year by not acknowledging human rights at all
Okay.
and giving all the human rights to animals.
There was almost a spit take from Gibby.
I'm okay.
It's Beastars, y'all. This episode, we observe Beastars and whatever the fuck it's trying to tell people.
So
That's a
Yeah.
way of putting it, yeah.
Beastars is
What
an
is
anime.
it?
There was a manga first.
There's a manga first. It's also an anime now.
It's produced and premiered and hosted on Netflix. And imagine if Japan did BoJack Horseman, but instead of a depressed adult horse,
It's a high school
It's-
soap opera.
it's a depressed teenage wolf. And it'll get weird. So I watched all this across the I watched the first season across
Yes.
the last couple of days. These two had already seen it and went
Mhm.
and watched season 2. And
For better or worse.
I'm just a little confused, to be perfectly honest,
What are you
because
confused about, Gibby?
obviously this show is very heavy
Mhm.
on allegory, and I don't know what they're trying to say with all of the allegory. Because essentially, for our viewers our listeners who haven't witnessed Beastars, there's carnivores and there's herbivores.
We're jumping the gun. We're jumping the gun a lot.
Yeah, are we? 'Cause,
Beastars
like,
is
there's that
Beastars
lot.
is set in a world with anthropomorphic animals.
Mhm.
So Zootopia,
So
but BoJack Horseman, but
Yeah.
neither.
It's closer to Zootopia than
No,
BoJack.
and that was when this anime premiered. I don't remember when the manga was first published, but when the anime first premiered back in 2019, a lot of people were immediately drawing comparisons to Zootopia, and rightly so, because you, as Gibby was saying, you have this world classified into carnivores, herbivores. There's a lot of sort of like idea of like racial tension in that way. Like herbivores kind of live their own life and do their own thing, and carnivores are like, you know, similarly trying to coexist in a world where their natural instinct is to hunt and kill prey. So a lot of people were like, oh, maybe it's a little bit more of an anime-ish like take, more adultish take of that kind of story. And yes,
no.
No. Quickly you after the first couple episodes you start going, all right, any expectations that I had remotely related to this are gone.
The story centers around a gray wolf named Legoshi as he goes to, it's anime, so Cherryton High School,
special
gifted kids high school, which produces an individual under the title Beastar. What's the Beastar? I don't fucking know.
It's the special boy.
Basically, they're like a pretty idol / hero / something. They get some kind of political power and fame, but not really.
A high school student is given like immense like societal respect and some amount of political power and sway just by being the coolest dude on the block to get nominated and chosen to be the B-star.
It's essentially as if like you had the prom king immediately become like your state senator or something like that.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that like despite that it's called B-stars, the concept of being the B-star, at least in season 1, is only mentioned like 3 times.
It's not at all important to anything.
It's not at all.
No, that was the thing that I kept like waiting for as the like, oh, okay, the B-star is like the chosen one thing. So who's gonna get to be that? It's never important. It's never.
That's kind of wrong. So
it's important, just not immediately for like the stakes that our characters are facing. Even though I kept thinking, and this is how we get into so and so trying to campaign for B-star or something like that. No.
So the guy up to be B-star is a deer named Louie, who was also the ace of the drama club. Yeah. Because of fucking course it's about theater kids.
It's got to be about
kids.
It's got to be about theater kids. You know why? Because all the jocks say what they feel instead of having angst. The jocks are just like, "Hey, you want to fuck?" That's how it's interpreted in media.
Yeah.
Versus theaters like, my soul is dying within me. And I was like, yeah, that is pretty accurate to theater.
Yeah.
Our main character, Legoshi, is also in the drama club, but he's backstage.
Tech kid.
He's a tech kid.
He's the emo tech kid.
And
gotta have one. There's one in every department.
Louis and Legoshi interact because of the aforementioned tension between herbivores and carnivores. And they're both after the same girl, a dwarf rabbit named Haru.
A real like, tiny rabbit.
Teeny girl.
Who comes up to their knees.
There's a like, okay, I was expecting this to be like slice of lifey, like, okay, high school drama, but anthropomorphic, like, all right, cool.
Which it kind of is.
Except there's a fucking murder in the first episode.
Yes.
Which doesn't matter in the first season at all.
Which hardly matters whatsoever. Like, I being the person that like only watched the first season of it, I was just like, are we gonna come back to this?
No.
Like, they killed your friend. like the sweet alpaca boy that we knew like of all 10 seconds or so.
10. And
they've got like a little picture of which they, put flowers next to and stuff. And it mattered, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the murder happens as a plot point to describe or influence the tension between carnivores and herbivores. Yeah. That's the only reason why it happens.
And then that tension kind of doesn't come back until like episode 6 or 7 or
yeah,
something.
it takes like halfway through season 1 for us to like remember this was like this was a big deal. Like what was just mentioned of like, oh, we're highlighting the sort of fine line, the fine edge of societal balance between carnivores and herbivores. This isn't just a murder. This kid got fucking eaten. Like there was nothing left of the body.
Yummy, yummy alpaca meat. And despite the fact that like we have eaten another sentient creature, the next 4 episodes are put that on the back burner, guys. We got to put on the high school play.
We got to do the play. Meanwhile, Lego She is trying to like figure out what happened to his buddy. Like Tem's not one of his like best friends, but like we do get this friends, like we were good, like we knew each other. We were both in drama club. He's the only one trying to figure this shit out.
Everybody else is just doing it for like angst. Everybody just uses it for angst. Like meanwhile, it's just like, all right, I don't care how exclusive your high school is. Mm-hmm. Your school's shutting down for at least a week if a kid not only gets murdered, but gets eaten by likely another student. Where are the police? Where is the SWAT team?
That's an amazing question, Gibby. That's a great question.
What does the animal SWAT team consist of?
A little bit of everything. And like, ironically, they're led by a field mouse because it's funny. You just see like them all repelling and like a tiny little dental floss repel comes down with the leader.
There is kind of like season 2, like one of the episodes of season 2 that kind of show like the political forces and how they're mad at the high school for not producing a Beastar and blah, blah, blah. The most vocal, like, political figure, because I think it's supposed to mimic Japanese parliament, because why wouldn't it? Is a tiny little mouse guy. And he has to yell into a megaphone for everybody to hear him.
Which I did enjoy that.
Imagine
that
being in a world
like,
with giraffes, brown bears, lions, gray wolves. Just like, it's not uncommon for beings to be over 7 feet tall, and then you're a 2 foot tall mouse. Not even 2 feet tall. You're just a guy. You're just a silly little guy.
I'm just a silly little guy.
Just a guy.
Living my silly little life.
Obviously, like the murder is like we'll have to solve it later. But first, we got to figure out who's the next leader of the Mickey Mouse Club. That's what's really important here, people. We got to figure out who the next Christina Aguilera is.
It's true.
That's what really matters here.
Yeah.
Anyways,
and at the same time, Lego She realizes, oh God, I'm in love with the small rabbit, and I have feelings about the small rabbit, and the small rabbit is also a little bit of a hoe, but go off, queen. Haru, you're your own boss. Mm-hmm. But there is so much tonal whiplash.
Yes.
That happens
that's exactly
within the first 3 episodes.
Yep.
And it never stops.
No, like it never stops. But I think by after like 3 or 4 episodes, you gotta just resign yourself to going with wherever the hell it's going.
Yeah.
And then it starts to maybe make a little more sense until the last like 3 episodes that again give you more whiplash.
Then the Lion Yakuza shows up and we're like, what?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Let's just like the basic like episodes that we go through. We go through, hey, kid got eaten. Uh-oh.
Yes.
We got the school and prom's tomorrow. No,
and
it's the school play.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's going to take up several episodes, and then we're going to focus on the characters. And then guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Lion Yakuza steals the girl. Are the police contacted?
No. Why not?
Why not? Because I know that the mayor is
because
I know that the mayor is complicit with the Yakuza, and it's like, whatever. It's like a random tiny teenager. Somebody would have stepped on her eventually because she's like 6 inches tall. But it's also like, that is a student. A student has gone missing. There have been cases of more devourings, and like, she got kidnapped by the Yakuza, who are going to eat her.
Yeah.
Call the parents, for God's sake. Like,
No. Why would we do that?
A group of high schoolers go in, take their shirts off, and beat up the Yakuza. So they could save their
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, hey, character development, pretty impressive, but I digress. Like, this is a show with a very strange tone, and I don't know if I understand all of their allegories.
I don't either.
Is now the time to talk about allegory and its use in this show?
No.
Okay.
I want to talk about...
I can keep waiting. It's fine, but I'm going to need to talk about it.
Credit to where credit is due on the show. Not a lot of action happens.
Until it does.
But when it does, it's very well directed.
Yeah.
The animation in the show is great. It's a cool blend of 2D and 3D animation.
Well, this is also Studio Orange doing
I believe
this one?
so.
Yeah.
Who, like, again, just did Trigun Stampede, just did, like, they've been building up a really good amount of street cred with this kind of blend of animation made to look CG and three-dimensional.
They're kind of the only company who could do it right. Land of the Lustrous,
Yeah, like
Beastars, Trigun.
It took me a little bit to get accustomed to this one, but it wasn't impossible. And I think it really was just like settling into that first episode. And I think it was more than anything just getting used to the idea of like the way that proportions in this world work is a little like jarring in some ways.
That's the really Zootopia part.
Yeah. It's seeing Zootopia through this anime style was a little bit like, oh, okay, but that is not necessarily on the part of the studio's design, more than just the like,
these are
getting
animals.
accustomed to the style of this world is very different than what a lot of other things look like.
There's also the consistent idea, whereas Looney Tunes kind of straightened out all the animals and made them relatively the same size when they anthropomorph. Same with like Disney, unless they're like a villain, then they're giant because you get the size difference.
Big imposing.
BoJack does it.
BoJack does it, where all the animals are basically the same size and
they're people, but the same size.
Exactly. Beastars does the bears are fucking bears. The mice
The bears
are
are big.
mice. Yeah, bears are huge.
Giraffes are tall.
Yeah. Which again, I think it kind of accents the weirdness and how they're able to coexist with each other. They still give them like anime proportions in the worst way. The girls still have big old titties, like whatever.
Yeah. They also do, and I think what really threw me, like, whereas Zootopia kind of gives everybody like limbs and extremities that adapt, like that they can do things with as animals, but that function for them in society. Beastars gives everybody like human hands.
Everybody has hands,
and
too, no
it's
hooves.
very uncomfortable at certain moments of just the like little animals with human hands.
Only when
toes.
you see the deer with like regular ass feet.
Yeah, I'm like,
Lewis, his hands are the creepy deer from Adventure Time with the little fingers.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I could think of. Like tossing off the
pulls
hooves
off the
and
hooves,
just like
starts
twiddling
rubbing
his fingers.
hands together.
That's exactly what that is. And I was like, you were a cool design before I saw your hands.
Yeah, I really liked everything that was going on here until I saw those.
I would almost rather you have fucked up AI art hands than this. This hits too close to home right here.
Yeah, no, the sort of moments that we have, the steamy, sexy moments where we get these shots of like hands and feet. I'm like, no, thank you, no.
The show also goes out of its way to use some interesting techniques. Like they'll do a split screen pretty often.
Yeah.
Or they'll do something artistic, like when Legoshi is like thinking really hard on something, they'll use like the outline of his head and show like animated either memories or like worries or fears or things like that.
Which is very cool.
Those are always neat.
No, there's a lot of great cinematic direction in that way.
Yeah.
And it adds something fun and interesting to watch despite the inner monologue thinking through things.
Yeah. Like they get a little repetitive with some of those towards the end, and you like pick up like what they've been doing, but at the same time like it brings that unique element to it. And you can tell that like a lot of thought went into the design of like the camera work and the lighting and like the color with this as well. I like that
Mhm.
everybody from like dozens and dozens of different species has their own unique design. Like there
Yeah.
are scenes when you have like all of the wolves in one place or all of like
They're in the
the
moon
bears in one
room.
spot.
They're all just
Yeah.
like howling at the moon
God damn it,
together.
moon.
God damn it, moon.
Yeah, like I like that each one has like a unique aspect to them. Like a lot of effort went into making this world feel varied and making it
Yeah.
feel like lively. You know,
Yeah.
that it's not just the
Mhm.
anime where it's like 100 people with the same face and you
Yeah.
see one guy with blue spiky hair in the middle and you're like, who's the main character
Who's
here?
the
I
main
wonder.
character in this classroom. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
No, and I really appreciated that. Like, again, like to keep coming back to sort of the things that I was expecting and anticipating and then having the rug pulled under me 20 times,
Yeah.
but seeing the way in which that world is inhabited as well. Like, not only does every character feel like they could be talked to and be brought into the world, which kind of happens more in season 2. We start pulling in just some of these rando side characters and like making them people and making them involved and like, yeah, everybody here is a person, but that every space is adapted for or used for the adaptations of the different types of animals, whether that's necessarily herbivores or carnivores, but also just like the wolves have the moon room, that like other the I think like the deer and the sheep and the whatever have like
They
a
have a-
grazing pasture. They've got
prairie,
like their
yeah.
own lounge to chill out in that's just a big field.
And
Like,
then it gets weird with some of its very specific choices. Like for some reason, there's a cold open about a hen that's really proud of the fact that she lays eggs that are used in the egg sandwiches.
Mhm.
And they spend like 5 minutes on her, like talking about her routine to get the best eggs. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. If my classmate was like providing, I don't know, like the bread for the sandwiches like from their own body, I'd be pretty damn concerned about
I'd
it.
have questions.
yeah.
I guess different world, different rules is what it comes down to, but like I wouldn't be down, like even if they made like fresh baked bread at home, I'd be like, yeah, but has it been checked by like the health administration?
It's like, why are you the
something?
one to do this, fellow student?
Yeah, like who made you the authority?
Is there a
here?
quota we have to get specifically on chicken students so they could lay eggs for us? Like, what's the deal here?
Like it's an interesting thing in
Mhm.
that like the world building, the lore, in that like everybody has vegetarian meals, but they're designed different for different
Yeah.
people. And I guess because eggs and milk and such are an animal byproduct
They're
versus
vegetarian. They're
animal
not vegan though.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
who's a vegan in this world when you're all animals?
I don't know. Hal eats a lot of carrots and stuff, so it's
Mhm.
fine. But like, then you also have the aspect of the black market,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
just a thing that exists in the city with
So
lines and lines of meat
So-
from people.
yeah. So that's one of the darker sides of the world of Beastars.
Yep.
There's
a hobo that wants you to eat his fingers for
Yeah,
like
yeah.
$5 a pop.
There is a
Ugh.
black market where carnivores can buy meat, but obviously meat is sentient people. So they kind of do it out in the open because it's an open air market, to which I'm like,
Right.
The cops definitely know about this place.
Yeah. And maybe the cops are on lions too.
Yeah, right. And the black market is where the aforementioned lion yakuza operates. There's also a
Mhm.
fox yakuza
Yeah.
and a lizard yakuza. There's one more,
Yeah.
but I can't remember what it is.
Good. Everybody deserves equal opportunity crime
Yeah.
bosses. Love it.
And carnivore, and it's your basic black market, open air black market / red light district.
Yeah.
There's my favorite character, Gohi the panda, who
Yeah.
is a buff panda doctor who beats people up and then rehabilitates them, so they're no
Yep.
longer, quote, addicted to meat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's a homie.
He has a crossbow.
A crossbow.
A crossbow.
Well, it's a bamboo crossbow, so I got my
Yeah.
words mixed up there.
No, but I get you.
He does in canon eat bamboo, Does he ever eat his crossbow?
I don't know. I could see him like pulling a bolt out of a guy that he shoots and then like munching on it.
Munching on it?
Makes sense. That
the
tracks.
non-bloody end.
Yeah.
He's like that classic panda joke that's like eats, shoots, and leaves or something like that. But it like he finds Legoshi, who I feel like we should talk about Legoshi's urges, and we'll probably talk about that in a minute.
Tell me about the young man's urges, Gibby.
Okay, so it's kind of
going through changes.
Thank you, Big Mouth, season 1 through 7. So
There's 7.
Legoshi is struggling, as most 17-year-old boys do, because he has the horny, but he also has the hungry.
Yep.
Because
What's the difference?
That's a question he asks several times.
Yeah. Yes. He does get quite philosophical about it for a 17-year-old. Like,
I feel like if you have to think about this on the daily, you turn into Plato eventually.
Sure.
Can I left turn the conversation real quick?
Sure.
I fucking hate how everybody speaks in poetry.
Yeah.
Like, it's so overly soap opera dramatic. Everybody breaks out iambic pentameter and just pops off in their internal monologue. It's like,
can we have one
the
character
darkness
that
in me is fulfilled by the blood of my friends. And I'm like, oh my God.
I'm
not
14
again.
You know,
and this is deep.
sometimes I do wish we got more of the chicken girl, because at least she was proud of herself.
Yeah, at least
she was the only one
human.
Yeah.
She was living in a self-confident mindset.
Yeah. She was girl bossing, and that's okay. You know what? I've come around on it. It's not weird anymore. As long as she's not
weird to sell your eggs.
As long as she's
think
not
she was
struggling with ennui, I'm okay with it, because like she's the only one that feels confident in herself. You know what? You go, girl.
But yeah, there's the two main characters, as we mentioned, Legoshi the gray wolf and Louis the deer. And they both deal with Legoshi not enough self-confidence and Louis too much.
Yeah.
And that's posed with
He's the perfect student.
Yeah, the juxtaposition of Legoshi being an apex predator and Louis being a deer.
Yeah.
And Louis has an inferiority complex. Legoshi's like, I don't know what's happening. I'm just kind of here. And
I just run the lights. Yeah. And like he is struggling with the fact that he is a predator, essentially. And he's also falling in love with like a tiny sweet rabbit.
The absolute bottom of the food chain.
Yeah, like the first instinct he ever has is to charge this girl and devour her. Like I get it, rabbit's tasty. I've had it before, but like if you eat too much of it, that'll literally kill you. Roman history, baby. But like he's struggling with the fact that he is like feeling the feelings of attraction and infatuation and struggling to find where exactly that mixes in the weird Venn diagram of I want to kiss this girl and I want to eat this girl.
Eat the girl.
Which is
Sha-la-la-la-la-la.
No, don't eat the girl.
Which is it's weird from a viewer perspective. It's really
weird to get accustomed to.
Different world, different rules, but it's weird.
Which I think is part of that idea. Like we keep trying to jump this gun on the allegory, but like for so long, I kept trying to justify so much of like the moments that just kept feeling weird with this idea of, is this supposed to mean something else? Am I supposed to be taking this like, maybe it's literal in the sense of this world, but am I supposed to be understanding this in a different light? Because it keeps
the answer is hopefully
out
not.
To me.
Yeah. So let's get into it, right? It's
like devouring. Okay, is this symbolic of something? If we were people, is this that? And I can't. There's no answer.
I have also done this. It was wrong of me to do so. A lot of people describe Beastars as a commentary on racism via blah, 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 blah. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Here's why. So it's in the world of the show, it is morally incorrect to eat other living things. Like they go out of their way to say it over and over again and to show it, and eating another person makes you crazy and blah 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 blah. And they eating meat literally like roids up the carnivores, and then they go after more and they describe it as an addiction. But it's also their base instinct. So when you say a race of people has a base instinct that is morally incorrect, but it's their right to society to overcome for that. If you're telling me this is an allegory for racism, that's a bad way to look at it. It's a very dangerous way to look at it.
I think what it came down to was like early on in like the first episode, it was like, okay, like these two groups have like separated on the opposite sides of like the drama club.
There's segregation.
Is where it's going to go.
Yeah. There's segregation and there's prejudice. Option 2 is you have to remember this is not a show made by Americans.
Yes,
this
I was
is
just
not
about
written
to bring
by
that up.
Americans. So whatever our ideas of racism are completely different from the authors. They are not equivalent.
They are living in a different part of the world with a much more isolationist and
there are different
homogenous
rules.
culture.
Hens lay their own eggs and then you eat them, and that's not an issue for anybody.
Not a problem.
Yeah. Anyway, so like when we describe it as an allegory for racism, it
doesn't work that way for the American sensibility.
No.
Yeah, it's almost more like what are the like the races from the Time Machine with like the flowery like weak surface dwellers and like the Morlocks or whatever from like the underground who are big and scary.
I can make words up too. Like,
that it can't possibly be the actual words. The Eloy and the Morlocks or something. I think
the Murlocs, frog people.
Editor Gibby played the nerd sound from The Simpsons. Homer Simpson screaming nerd.
No. I don't even have to download it. Give me a second.
Yep. Okay.
Couldn't even hear that over Discord.
You'll hear it on the recording.
Oh, good.
Do we want to say spoilers for season 2?
Spoilers.
We haven't really gotten spoilery, but
good for us. We mentioned a lie in Yakuza that the main character fights.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you can get spoilery for this show, but at the same time,
it's
I don't know how much it like.
So like and another reason why I'm not like saying this is an allegory is because it's pretty obvious when you examine the world and you examine the plot, and it's super inconsistent. For example, right? They're like, okay, the chicken lady lays eggs, and that's what the carnivores eat, whatever. There's also an anteater who gets hurt in season 2, and to placate him, they're like, hey man, it's cool, technology's great, they're gonna reattach your arm, this shit happens all the time, which apparently it does in this world. We'll go get ant milkshakes after this. Fast forward a couple of episodes, Legoshi has to eat a moth larva, and he has an existential crisis about eating a living thing, to which I said, hold on. You just talked about eating ants with your homie, and you've been eating your classmates' eggs for the last year or two. Why is a moth larva a thing that like pisses you off? You also
bugs.
You also get to one of the main plot points of season 1, and here was where I get kind of extra spoilery, is Legoshi training to not only be like a badass kung fu fighter, because we have to hit those anime tropes, but also overcome like his base instinctual urges to eat meat, right?
Yeah. It's like I can be with Haru if I can just make myself not want to eat.
Which he does. He trains with Go. He literally sits in a room with a big old hunk of meat, and he's like, meditate until this doesn't bother you anymore. Which it does, but it also makes his jaw weaker because he hasn't eaten meat. And they're like, hey, if a carnivore doesn't eat meat, that actively makes them weaker. However, I'm also going to teach you how to fight, so you could use your limbs instead of your jaws. Whatever. It's cool. It's great. He learns actually how to fight. We see progress.
Yeah.
He takes out half a dozen armed lions by himself with his hands. They all have guns. They are loaded and pointed at him, and they get fucking handled.
Look, man.
Meanwhile,
they're only
I'm not
allowed to
fucking
have one
done.
shoot at a time.
they shoot like 3 times and he dodges all of them. It's it's badass. It's a great scene. However,
Faster.
we find out who ate the alpaca. It was Riz the bear.
We find this out in season 2.
In season 2,
We come back. We start a murder investigation in season 1. We get sidetracked with Yakuza and love triangles, and a wolf girl shows up and wants to take Legoshi, and all this shit happens.
By the way,
by the end of it, we go, oh, right.
There was
we
a
still don't
murder.
know who killed Tem.
in
I was
canon,
going to ask about it.
in canon, it is 9 months later
Yes.
that they're like,
Wow.
"Hey Riz, we
That's-
know you killed the alpaca."
Season 2
killed
happens.
Tem.
Legoshi like restarts investigating, and
Yeah.
then I think about halfway through, we finally
it was
realize
Tem.
who
So-
it is.
Yeah.
Remember-
Yeah, hold on. One quick thing.
Yep.
Are you telling me that an entire high school full of like Gen Z kids didn't start like a cold case podcast about this
Nope.
over
Right.
9 months?
Right.
That's completely unrealistic.
It was Riz the bear, who's a grizzly bear, and he has
Okay.
all this
Oh, he's a
stuff.
polar bear, right?
Brown bear. He's a brown bear.
Brown bear.
He's a brown bear.
Sorry.
Psychotic.
Sorry, yes.
He is psychotic.
Yes.
Where's he been all this time?
He's in the drama club.
He's been
okay.
working in the drama club.
Mhm.
Ah,
Hasn't
he's
eaten
been a
any other
background
students,
character.
though. He definitely
Yeah.
like talks like he has and like he should be, but he doesn't. He's only eaten Tem, and it's weird. He gets really weird, and of course, he speaks in poetry about it.
Yeah.
This one guy who, remember, last time he ate meat 9 months ago, and Legoshi is like, I know Riz ate Tem, so I'm gonna confront him about it, and then we're gonna fight. And then we're gonna fight again, and then I'm gonna go find Louis and say, "Hey, I know Riz ate Tem," and even Louis goes,
Louis, who has run away from responsibility and has become the leader of the Lion
of
Yakuza.
aforementioned Lion Yakuza. Louis is now the Yakuza boss. Hold on, don't interrupt me. Louis
Also
who
has
is
like
in,
been made to eat meat.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Louis, who is in the Lion Yakuza, who is talking to Legoshi about Tem eating, or Riz eating Tem, is like, just call the goddamn police. That is the line, word for word. Just call the goddamn. Legoshi says, no, we have to fight. Which, okay,
No.
cool. Legoshi has again beaten up 6 armed grown-ass adult lions, and he can't fight the bear. The bear kicks his ass. The bear who hasn't eaten meat in 9 months, 3/4 of a year.
Continuously
So-
decks this man.
So, Legoshi, on his last leg, is with Louis, and Louis like, hey man, you're not gonna beat this guy without eating meat. So Legoshi says, no, I can't do that. And then Louis like, eat me. So Legoshi
Yep.
eats his
Yeah, that makes
foot
sense.
and gets steroided and beats the shit out of the bear. So I'm like, what the fuck was the last 12 episodes when we were like, hey, don't eat meat and you're better for it for that? To which that shows me, all right, hey, there is no greater allegory here. The writer's
Yeah.
literally just writing shit that he thinks is cool and feeds the
Yep.
drama. And again, the
Yeah.
emotional whiplash, right? They will be fighting bloodied, and then they will stop and wax poetic at each other. And then they will claw each other out at big kung fu scene. And then somebody will pull them out, have a heart to heart. Hey man, Haru really cares about you. All right, I'm gonna go back and fight this guy. And then bloody. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? This shit
Also,
sucks.
they walk around like after having a big like slap fight and everything, and they clearly have like a black eye or bandages and shit, and nobody makes
Nobody
any
talks
mention
about
of
it.
it.
No.
Nobody cares. It's like violence is inherent to this world to the point where it's weird if you don't fight somebody that you're disagreeing with. Now, I will say, weird that like Louis, who at the end of season 1 like shot the Yakuza leader,
Yep.
pretty badass if I'm
Oh,
being
yeah.
honest here.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Like
Louis kind of a prick in the first season, but also at the same time, he's like, no, but he is a badass. Like, you got to give it to him.
yeah, it's like if Ryan Gosling killed the mafia. Like
Huh?
Ryan Gosling was a member of the Mickey Mouse Club when he was a teenager.
And that translates to, okay, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if Rui's a Ryan Gosling type, but I get what you're going for.
He's got a lot of angst and a lot of monologues. I'm seeing it. But
Sure.
like the fact that he becomes the next leader, I guess, is like your typical like only the strong may rule. Or if you
No,
kill
how
the
they
leader, you
explain it is the lions see him over the corpse of their boss, and they're like, "Hey, we're getting fucked up." But if people see we have an herbivore in charge of us now, then our reputation will change. Which it's stupid logic, but it works out for them.
Yeah.
You know.
However, I actually felt like in season 1, I was just like, Louis keeps talking about like, why don't you use your carnivore powers? Why don't you use your aggression and your strength? And I'm like, this guy is going to be the one that crosses the line.
Yeah.
He kills a lot of people.
This is an herbivore that's going to eat meat. Well,
He does eat meat.
welcome to the world, the first ever omnivore.
Yeah. What? Which bears are omnivores?
Right.
If you
like,
told a
this
bear-
talks about like honey as a sort of like sedative.
And
kind of.
If you told a bear that, hey man, all you get are like eggs and veggies for the rest of their life, they'd be like, that sucks,
Yeah.
but cool. Also, are there fish? Are nobody eating fish?
That's a good question.
And then the bugs? Why is nobody eating bugs?
Well, because they're pets. Bugs is pets.
Bugs is pets.
But the anteater eats ants in milkshakes, but the wolf can't go to the woods and fucking eat a moth larva without having to come to God about it.
The larva speaks.
Which the larva
that's
speaks,
also-
and the larva says, "Thanks for eating me," and then he's still like, "Well, I'm never gonna do that again." It's like, fucking why not?
It's Legacy, man. He's going through it. Like, he's not
Makes no
allowed to
sense.
not go through it. You know why? Because Japanese teenagers in anime are not allowed to be happy. That comes
Can't have a
down to
moment's peace as
Yeah.
a young male protagonist in an
it.
anime.
You can never be an Ash Ketchum. And even if you
Yeah.
are an Ash Ketchum, you're restricted to being 10 for the rest of your life, which is a different kind of hell. You must be a Shinji. You must be struggling.
Also, speaking of never resting, season 2 just kind of goes, hey, Haru's fucking mad at you. So all that time that we spent building up this relationship that may or may not actually work, if it does happen in season 1, just gets backburnered because now we're on the vengeance quest to find the murder. Is Haru gonna help? No. We're just not gonna tell her anything, and she's gonna get pissed off at you.
She shows up 5 times in 12 episodes. She's in 5 scenes.
And
Yep.
she's here to be mad.
And she's here to
Yep.
be mad. The women in this
Yep.
show are dainty. And I don't like it. They have
Dainty.
they have agency, but they also don't. I think there's maybe one instance where I can think of where anybody could pass the Bechdel test, where there's 2 women on screen and all they're talking about are Louis and Legacy.
That
which-
doesn't pass the Bechdel test.
It does not. That's what I'm saying. There's a
Oh,
sidebar.
I know. The chickens.
There's the chickens.
Hell yeah.
There's the
Girl
chickens,
boss.
and then there's another really cute scene with a sheep and a leopard. They become friends, and they go.
Oh,
on a quick
Sheila.
Yeah, Sheila.
Yeah, the shopping trip.
They go on a
It's
shopping
really,
trip.
really sweet.
It's actually it's one of my favorite parts of the show.
Yeah.
Where they kind of have you have things that you go through, and you have things that you go through, like that kind of thing. And it's done very well through the guise of like, what would teenagers be concerned about? Well, social
Yeah.
media. The herbivores get more action on social media. Of course they do. Well, that's fucking lame, says the carnivores. And then they like go on a date, and I was like, lesbians. It wasn't. It wasn't, but I got excited.
Now kiss.
But they have this, oh, yeah, you're different and I'm different, and that's okay. It was actually very sweet.
I'm just like you.
Yeah.
You're just like me.
Outside of that, the women are there to be dramatic and doted upon
Yeah.
and lusted
Yes.
after. And
Yes.
Oh,
dumb.
either pursued or doing the pursuing.
Yeah. In terms of Juno.
I'm blanking on her name.
Juno.
The other wolf. Juno, yes. Like when she's introduced, I'm like, oh shit, okay. Like this is an exciting and interesting character.
Yeah.
Like she's a freshman, so she's like
a
naive
freshman
and
gray
clueless.
wolf comes in halfway
Yeah.
through the series. And
of season 1.
the freshman, season 1, and the freshman gray wolf seeing Legoshi, the only other gray wolf, is like, we're
You.
destined to be together.
I'm gonna get him.
Because Juno is weirdly institutionalized, and we don't spend a lot of time talking about it, which I'm like, I feel like we should. But
yeah, because they do set her up to be this, like, where Louis is kind of like against Legoshi. I liked that Juno was kind of set up to take Legoshi's place. Like she was gonna be more of a like contender to match against his legacy in theater and or the Beastar campaign than Legoshi ever could have wanted to or cared to have been. Even though Legoshi's the main boy, like it's gonna be Juno instead.
There's that, and also Juno in several scenes mentions out she's like, no, carnivores and herbivores should be separate. That's safer for the herbivores. Carnivores and herbivores shouldn't be intermingling and mixing. I'll keep all the herbivores at arm's length, which I'm like, that's fascinating. Care to talk about it more? No? Cool.
I have a feeling that, like, just based on tropes and cliches and things like that, like she makes a big speech at the fireworks festival, which of course there's a fireworks festival.
Of course there's a fireworks festival.
Whatever. It's anime, it's tropes, it's what happens when you're a teenager. But like she makes a whole speech about how we've got to look out for the herbivores and all that. And I swear to God, if later in the series, like because Hal is like still paired with Legoshi, and she gets pissed off about that because, damn, she stole my man. If she immediately becomes the Beastar and goes, hey, let's be racist towards the herbivores, I'm just going to be like, a fucking course.
That'd be
fucking
sick.
course.
I don't think we ever actually see anybody become the next Beastar.
No, again.
No, because it doesn't matter.
For
Who
the
cares?
title of the show in 2 seasons, it has not mattered one flying fuck who the Beastar is.
Yeah.
Just call the show what it is. Sad, depressed, horny furries. That's what
Horny
it is.
furries, that's the title.
That's all it is. And also there's a plot about the Yakuza.
The cringing look on Bo's face.
Forget like American Idol or anything. That doesn't matter, apparently. Why would you title the show after the 30th most important part of it? Like, it'd be more accurate to call this show Let's Ignore a Murder Scene.
True crime where? Couldn't tell you. Don't know anything
Last
about
thoughts on Beastars. What are we thinking?
I got that. Here's what I was thinking about. I know that, like, we see Riz the Bear's big ol' chompers and all that.
Such a funny name.
Tam at the start.
Yep.
Like, I think it would have been so much more interesting if Louis was the one that actually ate Tam.
Same.
Like,
or just killed him.
Like with with like him crossing like the herbivore to carnivore line, and he's always like, I wish I could be aggressive like you. I wish I could use the strength that you have. Wouldn't it make sense to make him like a creepy villain?
Or,
like he's already creepy enough when he like looks at the camera directly.
Creepy.
But yeah, whenever you like he would be Army Hammer of this world, like a guy who used to be like the sexy actor who's eating people now. Like,
or any other. You could have introduced another herbivore. That would have been much more interesting. Somebody trying to wreck the carnivores from within, than being like, no, the carnivores are wrong and they have to overcome that, which is
what movie that actually exists?
Zootopia.
Crazy. Wow.
Disney did it first and Disney did it better. I'm just saying. There's my thoughts.
Kaylie.
Damn. One thing we haven't touched on that I do want to say is maybe, I guess, a last thought. The opening, the season 1 opening is a goddamn banger.
It's a good song.
Oh my God. And the way it's stylized, the way it's this like stop motion piece between Legoshi and Haru. I'm like, this is so fun and exciting. And I love this. I would make sure to watch it every time. I wouldn't skip past the opening of season 1. It's so good.
I almost ate you. Can we kiss?
Happy kiss, please. I can just kiss. No. Oh. No, I started it with expectations of like, it might be kind of like this, surely going in a different direction, but like some of these foundational ideas of like me having grown up with Western media looking at anthropomorphized animals. Maybe these are things I could expect in this. All of it got thrown out the window, and it just took so long to reconcile. Is this me not like? Is this like a Japanese perspective, or is just a stylized, like as an anime, how to do things, to then just kind of come around and grapple with like, no, we're just writing a soap opera for the sake of writing a soap opera.
Yep.
And part of me wishes there was like deeper meaning to the idea of the actions, like to the idea of devouring, or to what is carnivore or herbivore reflected in the real world. What can we take away from some of these things? And it really was just the like, no answers, only more questions.
And inconsistency.
Okay. No, and I think the other thing that's like, I'm interested, we're presumably getting a season 3 on Netflix.
That's what it said.
The next bad guy is a horse who was the last Beastar.
Yeah, and maybe we'll finally get a new Beastar.
We won't.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't.
We don't.
But
it simply doesn't matter.
But no, there was always a kind of question in my mind of like, for every role that our characters seem to start in, if characters die, if they transition into new things, we kind of replace them or just add to the roster in ways that I would be interested to see. Like, now that we've got those bodies back, what's different? What do they
specifically
do? Like,
Louis and Pino.
Yeah, like Pina, I kind of was like, fuck this guy when he was just sort of obnoxious.
Pino
in season 2.
Pino was a
kind of coming around.
Yeah, Pino was a freshman who comes in and is basically 1-to-1 slotted into Louis' spot. He's
a ram.
He's
not a deer.
Yeah, he's a ram. He's pretentious. He's a good actor. He's a womanizer. Super intelligent. And it's 1-to-1. Obviously, it's a little different because he's more arrogant more outwardly arrogant than Louis is. But it's like you are
sexy.
Yeah, he is sexy. It was like you were invented to fill the same role that Louis left.
Yeah,
but Louis is theoretically coming back to school after season 2. So.
Right. Like, that's the thing. I'm like, where do these things change and or tread a different path, perhaps? Or are we just bringing in characters just to have characters, I guess?
Yeah.
And, that's not out of the normal for high school drama, but it would be exciting. Like, the thing that I love about the show that I'm just continuously frustrated by is that you have a very fun sandbox here. It makes no fucking sense with its consistency sometimes. But like, as Gibby has said, like, you could do all of these, like, oh, I thought we were going to do this, or wouldn't it be cool if you had done this instead? Like, I can only hope that that's where these characters get used, because it feels like half the time we're not utilizing people, which sucks. Because despite the headache and whiplash that this show has given me for 2 seasons, I do still want to watch. But it frustrates me when we have a cast of 10 characters that all have like things that they're going through, and we're only looking at 3 of them.
Yeah. Give me more hens. Give me the girl bosses. Fuck this like triple romance shit. Give me girl boss chickens.
For me, it's exactly what Kaylie said. It's very emotionally jarring to watch this show try to tell an original narrative, but also a soap opera, but also lean into anime tropes. Whereas the boys have to fight and take their shirts off like an old Yakuza movie. It's like, motherfucker, put your shirt back on.
Where's the guidance
17.
counselor?
Right. It's Euphoria for furry nerds.
Euphoria?
Euphoria. Yeah.
There you go. That's the new title.
If that's what you're into, then man, enjoy the ride. I'm going to.
It's hard to put down.
It's very hard to put down.
It is a car crash in slow motion. You keep watching.
I'm going to end this conversation by reading some comments from the Wikipedia page for Goheen the Panda.
I'm okay with this.
Excellent.
Shinobu Supremacist on July 15th, 2021 says, I'm not a furry or a zoophile, but Goheen is kind of ellipses. hot.
Strong.
Raylon the Joke on November 18th, 2021, 5 months later, says, sus.
Fascinating.
Zendichez on January 19th, 2022, who
Like
please note, whose profile picture is a blushing golden retriever, says, "You're not the only one. He's objectively prime breeding material."
Oh, I don't like the words you said. I'm falling away from my mic.
Xana 111 on September 14th, 2023, over a year later,
God.
says, "LOL, peoples, no apostrophe, no anything, are still using the word zoophile when attracted to, all caps, anthropomorphic animals, space, question mark. Guys, come on, no apostrophe. We all know of the mare hot, and that doesn't make you, one word, UA. No, correction. That doesn't make yo, ua, dog fucker."
This can be summed up by the Game Grumps Danny quote of, "I'm not a furry, but hot is hot."
Fair enough.
That's been this episode of Liberal Artist Podcast. It's the first one of the year in the books.
What a start. What a start to the year, ladies and gents.
Thank you for listening. We really do appreciate you, listener. Follow us on Instagram at Liberal Artist Pod. Join us next time when we write a better high school drama than Beastars.
What if we do it as a world of bugs and fish instead of animals?
And they eat nothing but wolves and chickens.
I'll get on it.
Peace.
The Liberal Artists Podcast premieres every other Thursday on your favorite podcasting platform. The show is hosted by Bodio, Kaylie Horowitz, and Andy Gibson. You can find the show at Liberal Artists Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks to White Hot for performing the theme song Reflect, which can be found on freebeats.io. Now, I'm off to go exploring, and maybe, just maybe, I'll find a sheep that I can call my own. Good day.
I'm hitting record. I can't handle any more of this furry bullshit.
You're hitting record? You mean stop?
You're just now
recording? God damn it, we have to do it all over again.
Fuck!